Hello, it is Wednesday, so it is my day for doing my Facebook Live on Truth Telling Wins. But today is going to be a very special one. First of all, I'm going to take off my glasses because they're reflecting. And second of all, you may have noticed that there was a picture of me with a woman for a few weeks, a month or so on this page before I changed the picture on the page. That is Nancy Meyer. And she and I started this whole page, which we're hoping is a movement. We are wanting to piggyback onto the Me Too movement and create what we're calling Truth Telling Wins. Now, she's got the hashtag Truth Tellers Win. So I've got the Facebook page with her. She's got the Twitter account. And today we're going to talk together on this page live. I'm waiting for Nancy to join me right now. We were practicing and we finally figured out. So Nancy, where are you? I'm waiting for you to find me and join me. I will put you on live. What I'd like to do today is give a background on why we started this page, how we met, what our goal is with creating this landscape, this area, this safe space for people to speak the truth, to hear the truth, for us to witness the truth, because I do want to invite others. Nancy, meanwhile, we practiced this and I'm waiting for you. I don't see you yet on the page. I need you with your phone to get on the Facebook Live. So I will see you and I will invite you on, and soon we will be on together. But meanwhile, I'll just keep going. So I'm in a new location here in my apartment. This is a picture of my mother over my shoulder. So that's kind of nice to have her. And it's Wednesday, January, what are we in? The 3rd, I think. And she is here with us. So let's see if I can get her on. Bring Nancy. Adding Nancy. This should be smooth because we've done this before. It only took us about an hour to practice doing it. So now all she has to do is turn her camera sideways and invitation. And it looks like connected.
Hi, Debbie.
Woo! We're rocking and rolling. All right.
Terrific.
Did you hear what I've said so far?
No, clue me in.
Okay, I want to give a little history of how we started this. Let's let everybody know. Why was there a picture of us, in front of a stage with our arms around each other while we were in Phoenix, Arizona a few months ago, quite a few, about a half a year ago, right? Middle of 2017. And you have a podcast of your own that you invited me onto. And from there, it grew.
We mentor Mondays with Nancy.
We mentor Mondays. And we have with Nancy Meyer. But that's not part of it. And we do have the 4 interviews, I think, maybe at least 3 of them. I'm not sure if we posted all of them here, but we did some good talks on there. We got a lot of information. And as we were talking, we decided that it would be a good place for us to expand and invite, the whole world started changing, right? On October 5th, when Harvey Weinstein all of a sudden got caught red-handed finally in Hollywood. The jig was up. He couldn't get away with what he was doing anymore. And the Me Too movement was born. it really finally took off because it was something that was simmering for about 10 years. And since then, it's really amazing how it has just spread like wildfire. How interesting that, half of California is on fire. Maybe there is something to that there is a burning going on. So we wanted to have a platform that we could share our truth, try to discern the truth for people, help people to understand what is true. Last week, I talked about how to tell if someone is telling you the truth or not. In fact, the first two lives that I did, I actually started talking about how I was gaslighted in my own relationship, in a little way. It's just
Yeah.
a little discernment. Again, I need people to understand that it's important for them to be able to express who they are, how they feel, and to be heard and not contradicted, because feelings can't be contradicted. So, okay, I've kind of introduced you, but I'm hogging the time. So, Nancy, go ahead and tell us what
Hi,
you want.
everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in. I want to say hi to Stacy Pitzrick, who has joined us. Yeah, Debbie and I have been enjoying our conversations so much that we feel together we can really help a larger audience and really help in the workplace to create a more safe, emotionally satisfying work environment so people can work more productively together. But when you talked last week about your experience with gaslighting, basically somebody putting gas on your internal light, I think it's a great message to everybody that we need to speak up and address, people when they're not, when we're not being heard. We need to stop the conversation and really try to hear each other better. I just read a research study on empathic listening, and 2 out of 100 people are empathic listening to each other. So yeah, isn't that surprising?
2%.
2 out of 100 people.
That's 2%.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
98% are distracted listeners.
Yeah, or pretending they're listening, or half listening. I did a workshop with my yoga teacher on empathic listening, and it was really surprising. Like one person who attended said that he had been told he was not only by his wife that he was a poor listener, but also a lot of other people in his life. And so I applauded him for, being there to learn how to become a better listener. And we learn empathic listening through role modeling. So if we only have 2%, of people that we're interacting with that can really role model empathic listening, I think we have a long ways to go and a lot to teach people to show them how they can listen better.
There's a very simple, it's simple to say, not so simple to do, because I've been teaching it for a long time. It's called reflective listening. And
yes,
it's really amazing when I put my students through the hot seat and say, okay, one of you play the person talking and the other play, that you're going to reflectively listen. You would not believe how hard it is for them to just not ask a question or give advice. That is not reflective listening. Reflective listening sounds like, so what you said, what I heard you say was, and you kind of repeat it back to them.
Yeah, in your own words.
In your own words, hopefully not completely parroting the words that they said, but there's only one way to know if you heard what they said, and that's to say, So I think what I heard you say was, and if you can do that, you are going to know for sure if you were listening, because then they get a chance to either say, yeah, or no, 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 that wasn't what I was saying. And then you can say, okay, so what was it that you were saying then? I guess I misunderstood. But,
Yeah,
you
because
know,
a lot of time people, yeah,
you
feel
have
like
to
they're
be
gonna
a
hurt.
listener. You have to be willing to listen. You have to, your brain has to be empty enough to be able to take stuff in. And so many people are so full in their brain, they don't want to hear what you have to say. They just want to say what they want to say.
Yeah, and I've also experienced with people that in our workshop, and we've got another one coming up, but in this one, a husband and wife was talking about with their children that they're having difficulty listening to them because they're preoccupied with their own thoughts. And
Yes.
so we were like brainstorming, you know, maybe give yourself permission to finish your thinking, you know, and tell the other person, I'll be able to listen to you fully in 5 minutes, or, you know, just give them a little time frame, you know, for you to transition your thoughts, especially if you were in a deep, you know, concentrated moment.
Now, if it has to do with their children, and that's what you said, they weren't even listening to their own children, that's a really important thing for them to say, honey, can you give mommy 5 minutes to just finish what she was thinking about and doing, because I'm concentrating and I need to stick with what I'm doing. And then I will give you my 100% full attention.
And then they need to do it.
And then they need to do it. Yes, 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 because otherwise it's a lie, right? They're not telling the
Exactly.
truth.
And in talking with oh,
Oh
are you still
no.
there?
Oh, my stupid phone.
What's happening?
I
A
am,
beep?
except that my phone is trying. My phone is doing
Cutting
too
up.
many things at once. I don't know how to stop everything else from coming on the phone. You know, messages are just coming on. I'm trying to get rid of them. It decided it was going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, you can set that up in settings.
Ah, see that?
I had to do that with my phone, so I wasn't getting all the dinging.
Oh, that's right. That's why I had turned it on to silent. I wonder if I should. But how, well, anyway, you'll have to teach me how to do that in settings so I don't get anything else. This phone is not supposed to be a phone right now. It's supposed to be a television camera. This is a
Yeah.
talk show. Doesn't everybody know?
Okay, so for today, we were just sharing our connection with each other, that you've been on several of my podcast shows talking about your life experiences and also your training as an alchemist, hypnotherapist. You through our conversations, you helped me to understand a little bit more of myself
Right.
with the accident that I had with my brother, and we were talking about post-traumatic stress disorder, and that I experienced that many years later after I witnessed my brother flipping a tractor over on his arm, and I was running to get help, and the running every time I went out for a run was triggered that memory of the tractor. And so you helped me understand that the running was the trigger because I was running to get help.
It was, like a loop. So
Right.
it was a trigger that brought back exactly the same body position that you were doing when you were in trauma. So
Yes.
as you were running and panting and your breath was in, you know, the place that your breath goes into and running, it brought it all back physiologically to you. So all of a sudden the memory popped up because you were in the same physiology. And so
Right.
you said, oh, every time I run, I remember. And I was like, I
Right.
guess your body would.
Right. And it took quite a while to figure out what was going on with myself. But you added in that extra little insight that I hadn't put together before, and I just really appreciated that. And so there was a lot of learning going on. And you and I seem to have a very good rapport with each other to do more helping other people to be able to talk about what they're experiencing.
Yeah, and has it gone away? That's a really good one I like to ask, Has now when you run, and I know you're in Minnesota and it's cold, so I don't know if you're running, but have the memories stopped going back there to the farm accident, the tractor accident since
Oh, many, many years ago.
oh,
Yeah, yeah, many years ago. Yeah, you just added the insight. And
okay.
yeah, I don't do running anymore. I'm all about yoga and walking and
Uh
biking.
you'll have to try running sometime just to try it out. So
Yeah, right. See if anything's triggered. Right. Because then I'll know if I truly have healed.
So meanwhile, I did bring up the idea of Minnesota, of where you are right now. And since today
Yes.
is today, which I think it's the third, isn't it? Isn't it today
Yeah.
the third?
January 3rd, 2018.
Yes. Happy New Year. And
Thank you. Same to you.
the last Facebook Live that I did before New Year was the last day of the Senate, or I was talking about the fact that Al Franken had just retired from being the senator of Minnesota.
Resigned. Right.
Resigned, yeah. And now here you are. He's your senator. Today is the day that what's her
Tina Smith.
Tina Smith goes to Washington. So
Yes.
can you say anything about what it's like to be a Minnesotan? And maybe some of us in the rest of the country, don't know what, other than the cold that you've been going through, what else? What has it been like being in a state where your senator was kind of taken away from you and another one was put in his place, and it's a woman, which changes
Yeah.
the look of the Senate. I think it goes to 23 now. I'm not sure. Maybe it's 25, but it's getting, no, I don't think it's quite 25. That would be exactly a quarter. So I don't think it's quite 25, but still, it's growing. It's growing.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. And women in powerful positions will help with the leadership and getting all of our voices heard.
yes.
Yeah, so I think many of us, most of us in Minnesota have mixed feelings because he's very effective senator. He was very well liked. We feel sad about the position that he found himself in, and but but he's going to keep going. His voice is not, is going to continue to be heard. I'm sure he's going to operate and move into some other leadership role where his work can continue here. And Tina Smith, I think, is a great representative for the state of Minnesota. I think she'll be fantastic, and she'll work very, very well with Amy Klobuchar.
Oh, you have two women senators now?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. I wonder if that's the only state that has two women.
I don't know.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. We're pretty progressive here, we feel.
Well, it is the place of Mary Tyler Moore. I have to go back to that. So that is where it all started.
Yeah, we're not throwing any hats though. We're keeping our
Just in the ring.
thick winter hats on.
I guess so. Yeah. But hats in the ring, and we have to see if she's going to stay. Of course, she only has another year, I guess, to fulfill his 6 years. I think that she'll be up for re-election pretty soon. Just like Doug Jones. He will be up for re-election. But what a day. And they had two vice presidents that each of them brought in to witness for them or something. So
right.
It's really an amazing day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's we'll see what happens. I mean, this has been a very unpredictable year, and I find myself filled with some anxiety, a little agitation every day because of the unpredictable nature of our overall leadership in our country.
It is a little tenuous, isn't it? Um,
It's very unpredictable. Yeah, and Steve Bannon, with his friend coming out with this new book.
was it his friend? I'm trying to get a little more light. All of a sudden,
Oh, okay.
my computer went off, and I really dark. So now you see it gets really light. But anyway, it wasn't.
You are definitely in the light.
I'm in the light. I was in the dark. Now you're in the dark.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know it was his friend, but yes, there is.
Well,
A
I'm not
lot
sure
of,
if it was his friend either. I was assuming it was his friend.
I don't think so. I think I heard he did about hundreds of interviews, and that was one of the people that he interviewed.
Oh, okay. I'm just getting the news today,
Yeah,
so okay. I need to get more, I see.
yeah. But
It's hard to keep track of everything.
meanwhile, this page, we are hoping, will be a place where people can even tell their truth. If anyone wants to come on, I already had one person who had found us here and got in touch with me, and I did a little bit of a free Skype, 15 minutes just to talk, because she needed somebody to talk to, and so she found this page as a place that was giving her comfort.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to be, a light in the world, a place where people can hopefully discern truth, speak truth, hear truth. And what is the truth? Obviously there is, like the blind describing the elephant. Everybody has their own truth. If they're feeling the tail, a blind man, it's going to feel like one thing. If they're feeling the leg, it's going to feel like another. The trunk, it's going to, so if you see an accident, you all have your own perspective of it, and we all have our own truth. But what I was trying to get to, especially last time, was what you feel. It's really important to honor people's feelings. And that's something that I think some people don't even know what they feel. In fact, I was just telling you, I was hearing a psychic talk about the fact that we are in a pink year. She's calling it a pink year. And I was hearing another psychic say that we are in 1,000 years of moving into an intuitive, emotional place from, what was it, a logical and physical space. Let me get the right word so I say it right. I don't want to say it wrong.
Yeah.
From the mental plane to the emotional plane.
Yeah.
And that's how I have structured my book, Talking to Myself, Learning to Love the Voices in Your Head, is I structured it in terms of intellectual characters that live in our head. That's that mental plane.
Yeah.
And the emotional characters that live more in our body, that are the ones that make us afraid or cry, compared to stay rational or even rationalize and just stay logical like Spock, but
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but logic can be wrapped around emotional people. There are some logical people that can try to dissuade an emotional person from even believing or trusting herself. There, we go on to kind of the idea of gaslighting, of not being able to really have our own feelings. And so look at where we are right now. We're talking about 1,000 years of being on the mental plane, and since 2000, I guess, moving into the emotional plane. So we've only been babies in it. And this year of a 2 year, I was writing that we're in an 11 that goes down to 2. 1 + 1 = 2, but 11 is a master number. And a 2-year, like in the I Ching, 1 is creative power and it's the masculine. 2 is the receptive and it's the feminine. So as you know, whereas men are going out, women are more retreating. I mean, we could even look at the actual sex organs and we can say, well, yeah, that is, metaphorically, there's an outie and an innie. And it's easy for the outie, the energy that goes out to overpower the one that goes in. And so we're in a reversal right now in the world. We're taking, you could call it the patriarchy, the way that men have ruled the world. It's been going on for a long time, thousands of years.
Yeah.
And we're moving it into a more feminine, receptive, intuitive, womanly.
Collaborative, cooperative.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I see, women business owners, which is who I focus on, small business owners, men and women. But I see that so many times they're taken advantage of when we reach a point in our businesses and we're launching new ideas, we feel insecure or we're not sure about the direction of our venture and how it's going. And that's when other people come in, and try to put down what you're doing, or if they don't understand what you're doing, make you more insecure. And the larger number of women that are securing
Be careful,
their lives.
Your finger is starting to make your face disappear. Yeah, there you are again. I see you. You're back.
Okay. But what I was saying was, women are are taking charge in the world in a lot different ways. There's huge numbers, and collectively we've been very hard on each other as a gender.
Yeah, and competitive.
Yes. And now I see the shift going into more collaboration. And instead of like women competing in business with other women business owners, we're collaborating. We're expanding services to work more effectively together and to make more money. But we're understanding how to work with money more and put the value on our work, a monetary value. For our careers. We still have a long ways to go, but we have a long ways to really go to understand how innovation works, and how as leaders we can, experiment quickly and fail quickly so that we can get new ideas into the world. But this transition is very disruptive. And we have entrepreneurial leaders who are at the forefront, right, of the disruption. And we want to be, you and I, presenting ourselves together, right? We're each running our own businesses very successfully, and we're collaborating together to reach more people and offer our different expertise to a wide range of people so that they can be empowered and really go after the things in the world that they need to. And we need to do it together as women in whatever medium we're in, but we need to do it as a collective group.
I think it's much easier. I remember growing up with the word coffee clutch. You ever hear that?
Yes.
Women tend to all congregate in the kitchen together. Men might be watching sports, but they'll probably, even little boys, when they do experiments with little boys talking, they talk with their eyes going out like that, both of them. Girls talk going in like that. So in the coffee clutch, women are in a circle. They're all speaking to each other. Men are focusing on, the sports or something, the TV or something that's going on. They're not necessarily looking in each other's eyes. And it sounds like I'm generalizing, but I'm saying that they see this with 4-year-old little boys and girls. And something else I heard about, speaking of the 23, I think it is, women senators, there was some book, I think, that came out, something like Now We Are 13. So about 10 senators ago, when it was just 13 women, since then, women senators, and we're talking about across the aisle, they have luncheons together.
Nice.
Republicans and Democrats are having trouble getting along, but women, they're not going along party lines. They're not saying the Democratic women have lunch and then the Republican women have lunch. They're saying the women have lunch together.
Yeah.
That is different.
That's very different. And in Hollywood, women, like in the New York Times on January 1st, they have a huge one-page letter. It says, "Dear Sisters," and it acknowledges that we're in solidarity together, right? And that they put together this organization, Time's Up.
Time's Up. Yeah.
timesupnow.com, where women who are experiencing workplace violence, sexual harassment, especially in the film and creative industries, that they can get legal help.
Well, it's really insane right now. What's been going on is they have been paid off and made to sign non-disclosure agreements.
Yeah.
So they have been, we have the financial inequality already between men and women. Oh, some country just became the first one. What was it? What country? To make it a crime for men. Iceland. I think it's Iceland today.
Iceland?
That men and women have got to make the same amount of money in every office. It has to be.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk it would start in Iceland?
I know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's small enough, I guess they can keep track of it, So what happens? The men have the power and they buy off the women that they harass or abuse or rape and then it's not like women even have a choice to take the money or not. It's like the choice is keep getting raped, lose your job and have no chance of getting a job because Harvey Weinstein was going to make your life. That was it. You were done in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Or take the money and at least be compensated for the injury, the insult and injury that was put on you. And then, of course, you're going to be made fun of for taking the money. It was lose-lose. There was no win.
Yeah, totally.
So this movement, Time's Up, is saying, we don't want to sign non-disclosure agreements. We don't want you to shut us up. We want you to stop doing what you're doing.
We don't want you to stop hiring us or be afraid of us. We want to find ways to work together more effectively. And that's a lot of what you and I are charging to do.
And I heard something too about, I think it was the Golden Globes that are coming out or something, the nominees. There was something about across the board that it was like women, like Wonder Woman, a female protagonist across the board in all the movies. And I can't remember if it was Best Director, Best Picture, but it was like they just went, it was like all women protagonists. It's the first time ever. With a woman star, Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know when we're allowed to say who the Last Jedi is, but it's very exciting, Is it like the Sixth Sense? You can never tell, because somebody may not have seen it yet, but it's very exciting. What's happening is women are being given the power. It's about time, and it's gonna seem imbalanced, right? Men are gonna get mad, and I say this with codependency all the time. I talk about codependency being like a seesaw. I should go like this.
Yeah. Okay.
if somebody's on a seesaw and you're going back and forth on the seesaw, and you're either down or you're up, but you're going back and forth, and now you're the one down, somebody else is up, they get off, boom, you fall. You hit yourself hard because they got up. That's what codependency is like. If somebody wants to get out of codependency, the other person gets mad. Why won't you play codependency with me anymore? And they come at you. You have to really hold your ground that I ain't playing. This is it. I'm done playing. And then they'll go home. Then they'll say, you won't play codependency with me anymore. Well, I don't want to play with you anymore. You're no fun. They'll find somebody else to be codependent with. So
they're breaking the pattern.
Yep, that's gonna happen right now. It's going to seem like women are getting uppity. But, the bad news is there are some men who are saying, well, we just won't hire women anymore. We're afraid we're going to get caught. You can't say anything. You can't play. You can't joke. You can't touch. You can't give shoulder rubs. So we won't hire women. So, they're going to get mad first, and then it's going to get even. So it's going to seem like women are getting everything. They're getting all these special perks, and it's not fair. And why are they getting hired? And why, because it's going to be like the codependent thing. They're going to be a backlash. I will guarantee that. It's just that's what happens. And then the pendulum will swing, and then it'll swing a little less, and then it'll come into balance. So it's going to take a little time. I mean, when you think October 5th was when the Harvey Weinstein came out, November, December, January 5th, it's only been 3 months. Doesn't it seem like forever? At least 6 months. I've had a guy say, well, these last 6 months have been, I hope this goes away. It hasn't been 6 months. It's been 3 months, but it's been 40 years or 100 years or 200 years.
Well, we're collectively all coming together to advance and make the world a greater place. And we need men working with us.
Yes, there needs to be.
Not be afraid of us.
Right.
But really learn how to deal with conflict constructively and learn how to be more empowering.
And fair.
And fair.
Win. Yeah. Truth telling wins. Yes. And it's gonna, at first it's gonna feel bad for some people. Some people are gonna feel like they're getting the short end of the stick. And, I hate to say, especially white men, they are the ones who had the privilege right now. And all of a sudden they're gonna feel like they're losing their privilege.
They already have been because of the numbers of people, minorities coming into the workplace, and they're much larger than the white population. So they're feeling a bit short-sighted.
Yeah, but they're represented. The white men are still the ones representing everybody, except in the sports field,
Right.
All of a sudden it's okay.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a little time of some people feeling like they're being left out, or they're not getting theirs. And, everybody has to hold on. Women have been holding on for a long time. Since the Me Too movement came out, I mean, whether we have a Me Too story per se, of something horrendous that has happened, there's not any woman who has not been, like I remember being, in my 20s in San Francisco, walking under the construction things and having the little
the whistling going on by the construction
and the
workers.
the wolf whistles, and the
Yeah.
I think I was grabbed once. I think I was literally grabbed. Because you're in this place that's this narrow, you got to walk through, and so every woman has felt something. Every woman, you don't get out without feeling it. Men
Yeah.
aren't used to that. So,
Well, they're learning. They're learning, and we each need to be patient with each other, and we need to walk this through together. And there needs to be a lot of more truth telling, and also those who are doing all this perpetrating, they need to do some more self-reflection, and they need to find a way to reconcile what they've done and
mhm.
repair the relationships of the people that they have crossed with or against.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Truth and reconciliation, but it's worked with apartheid in South Africa.
Yeah. Since you mentioned reconciliation, I did see, and that was just this morning. I did see it written somewhere else already today. So that is coming around.
Yeah, yeah. David Chappelle, the comedian,
Okay.
he was talking about truth and reconciliation. Um, but there's also long ways to go for people understanding how devastating this is, and that women have a different way of responding to this. And so many of us that changed the trajectory of our careers as a result, and men would handle that situation differently than women.
You mean that you had to leave? Is that what you mean? Women have
Yeah, that I
to leave
felt like
careers?
I wasn't supported at all. I went to the
Mhm.
agency manager even, and he did nothing. And so I had to quit the job.
Yeah, and how many women have had to do that? And
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And men are like, hey, I wouldn't quit my job. I
yeah.
mean, men would handle it differently. But it's hard for them to really understand the degree of, like, I never felt safe in a work environment again. How do you reestablish that
Mhm. It's very
and
difficult
take a risk again
because
like
that's that
that?
feeling again. How do you stop feeling the fear and trust, learn to trust again? And,
Well, and not having the authority figures, those in power having,
mhm.
not didn't have my back, haven't had many women's
Right.
back to support them. And so there's nowhere to go.
You had the social proof that you weren't being covered. There was no cover for you, that you
Well, and
were
it's
vulnerable.
astonishing. It's astonishing to see, there's none of us that are alone in this. That's the sad part, and nothing has really been done since that happened to me in the 80s.
I think
So
that
that's
that
why
is, yeah, that's what's happening now. And
yeah.
so what's it called? It ends now. How does it, what is it that they're saying? It's up. How does it go?
That time's up
Time's
now,
up. That is a good one. Time's
now.com.
up. This is it. This is it.
Yeah. And it's a
Yeah.
great website to get lots of resources about what you can do if you've had this experience.
And you said
Um,
website, you go to timesupnow.com.
yeah, .com. The movement is Time's Up.
Yeah. Well, that's probably a good place for us to end. Time's up. I think I had this as from 5:30 to 6, and it's already looks like it's 6:15 Eastern time. So we've held
Is it
people
really?
for a
Okay.
while, and I guess
So
flew. It was all interesting once again to be talking to you. We seem to flow.
you too. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk again. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Connie Nordland, I see you're there. Hi. And Sabine Hornoy. Sorry about that. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. Just two more people that popped up.
Good. I don't see anybody but your name, so I hope you're getting them. And
okay, yeah, a whole bunch of people have been
good.
through. So yeah, it's good.
All right.
All right.
So
well,
we want everybody to join our page, follow this page, Truth Telling Wins, follow the Twitter, Truth Tellers Win, that Nancy manages, and let's keep the conversation going. If you want to come on with me, please let me know that you want to tell a story, and I'll have you on. I am going to be dedicated to doing a Facebook Live on Wednesday night. That's what I'm going to say for this year. I'm going to try to make every Wednesday night my Facebook Live night. And Nancy, sometimes I'll have you on, and if you want to ever come up to this page and do it yourself, you are an administrator too. So just let me know that you want to do it. You can even do one by yourself.
That sounds great. And to listen to the podcast between you and I of where we met, you can go to www.wementor.com.
And I think on this page, and there's 4 very good ones.
Yes.
Very good information that was shared in those podcasts. Very entertaining and informative.
And if you're a business owner, you can subscribe to my We Mentor Mondays with Nancy podcast and really get different information for you and about running your business that can be helpful. All right.
Yes. And if anybody has stuff they need to talk about, I am a therapist and I can help you over Skype. Just, let me know here, message me, and we can take care of that, please, because this is the time to let those feelings go. Get it healed.
And I can attest that you are awesome. We've had a session and wow. Yeah. It was powerful. You cover a lot of territory in a short period of time.
Thank you. Okay, good. Okay. Well, good night. Okay. Happy New Year, everybody. And invite your friends, share this. I hope you enjoyed. Bye now.
Okay. See you soon.
All right.
Okay.